Hello, everyone, and welcome to Full Send episode number 6. We've got lots of stuff to talk about today, a total of 6 events across 2 different sim comps, and today I am joined by the one and only Nico. Hello, Nico.
Hi, Rapidity. Thanks for having me on. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm GD Nico for short. I've run the sim comp OST. I'm the manager of the S yachts in the MSFL. I'm currently working on a sim comp called OBT, which is the successor to OST. In season 2, we saw the league expand to 6 teams, adding two expansion teams, those being the Moon Melodies and the Ice Yachts. The Ice Yachts, by the way, I do manage them, and this makes OST the first ever sim comp where the commissioner is managing a team. It's not rigged, I promise. But the other expansion team, the Moon Melodies, they came away with the win in Steeplechase. RCD, your team actually got second. And you're just
Indeed, they did, yeah.
1,300th back. And then the Vampires got third.
That was a pretty interesting event. Steeplechase is just an interesting one in general. Not absurdly complicated, but always kind of a fun one. Just like, oh, okay, you got a pure test of speed, but if you're, you have to be precise in your speed as well, or else bad stuff happens and you end up finishing poorly, and everyone's sad. So yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. One thing I do want to bring up is about that third place team, Vampires. They're the defending season 1 champions coming into this, and they would have had the best time by far if it wasn't for Pretzel, who was I believe the second closest to an MVM to winning the MVM award in season 1. Pedal would win that award. They are currently on the Emerald Gems, and Pretzel, they hit all the sticks on the way down. Their other 3 members all did not hit any sticks, but in fact, 2 of them had very fast times, but unfortunately Pretzel just really tanked their time. Got 4 penalty seconds added on and finished in a pretty far back third.
That's another good thing with Steeplechase. It's one of those events that has the intricacies of penalties. I don't know of any events besides that really off the top of my head that have that feature. But it's like, oh yeah. And I mean, even if a marble had finished 4th and gotten the worst time that wasn't counted, they could still get the penalties added to the team overall. So
Yeah.
that was a good one. Stuff happened, etc. Event 2 was archery duels. Archery duels was a very interesting one. It's just a good idea in general. I don't know off the top of my head if we've had really any points scoring kind of like this head-to-head events in sim comps. I know in like Marble League there's been jousting or whatever, but that hasn't really been a thing in sim comps, so it's good to see that. This was just a fun event in general, commentary-wise and format-wise.
This was my personal favorite event, which is kind of ironic because my team placed last year, but yeah, this event, it was just really fun to simulate. It was really fun to see how the teams performed. Basically, the way that worked is that in the first round you would have the you have three groups of 2, who 3 head-to-heads, if you will. The winner of each of those would move on, and the best of the rest would also move on. I believe that was the Vampires. Yes, it was. Was with Pretzel, who kind of avenged himself after their poor performance in Steeplechase. They would go on to get second in the event, and behind Goo of the Emerald Gems. And then it would be Arrow, the Physics Fanatics, getting third.
Kind of funny, a marble named Arrow doesn't win archery, but it happens.
Huh.
RNG exists. After that was diving. I believe the only aquatics event of the season. So that was a thing that existed.
Yeah.
Vampires won that one and put themselves in the overall lead and in a very good position to take their second straight title. Vampires also won the first OST season, and they were in the lead by 4 points at that point. So it was going to be rather difficult for anyone else to catch up. My team, the Physics Fanatics, got a medal in the first three events, all of them. So we were pretty close as well, only 4 points behind. And the Moon Melodies, who I believe won event one and they got fifth in the past two, were still definitely in contention in third.
The Icy Ops, they did good in this event. They got their first and only medal of the tournament. They got silver here, and yeah, they were able to move out of last with that in a tie for fifth, which they would win off of placement count back. Another notable thing is that the bottom two teams, Moon Melodies and Emerald Gems, it came down to the sync score with them, and the Melodies got the edge by 100th, which is honestly just insane.
You do get those kind of just unnecessarily close matches, though. At least it
Yeah,
wasn't quite as heartbreaking because it was bottom two instead of top two. If it was top two and it had championship implications, that would have been rough. But
I wouldn't say it's quite as heartbreaking as recording a podcast without the audio. Wink, wink.
ha ha ha, very funny.
And then the final event is elimination race. And are you sure you want me to talk about this one? Because
You know what? Why not? Someone has to say something. I don't want to talk about it, so you go for it.
all right, all right, all right. The reason why I asked for if you don't know is that because RC's representative Bones, they unfortunately got eliminated in the first round and fell off the podium due to the Emerald Gems and the Moon Melodies doing well in the event. Both of them would be second and third, with the Gems being above the Melodies. They're represented by Warrant and Gray, and the winner was Acid of the Vampires, clinching not only the championship but also the Most Valuable Marble Award.
It was not very good for this event, just straight up.
Yeah,
But it
Warrant
was,
had 89 speed, and they pulled off an incredible upset run, making it all the way to the final.
yeah. And I think that's kind of the beauty of sim comps too, is because you do have those marbles that are just purely worse. With IRL marbles, it's they're all just balls of glass and they go down the track and no one really has any inherent advantage over the rest. But with this, it's like, oh yeah, Acid is a better marble than Warrant. And Warrant was able to keep pace with them and make it to a final duke out, knocking out four other marbles that were arguably better than them. So you get those underdog stories that you don't really have in real, I guess, custom
Mhm.
competitions. Um,
In the overall standings for the whole thing, the the vampires they would come away with a gigantic win, 10 points back to a tie for second between the Emerald Gems and Moon Melodies. These Gems got the edge because they have the gold and silver. Moon Melodies only have the gold and the bronze. And there is another team that I want to talk about, and they're a team that performed particularly weak. That being the Ace of Spades. They ended up placing dead last with only 11 points, no medals, and it was just really unfortunate because their manager, Orsa, who you may know as the manager of the Pantheon, he purposely tried to throw the first season, a season in which he actually did good. He was inked as going into the final event, lost at the very end, and and, and in this one where he actually tries draft some pretty good marbles like Levo and Dr. Sunshine, and unfortunately it just does not go his way. He places dead last.
such is life. Unfortunate, but such is life. Orsa's just had poor
Yeah.
RNG kind of in general across most sim comps. I don't know why, but it's like MSFL, which we're gonna get to in just a second here. He has not locked the championship for the Pantheon yet, and the Pantheon is the best team by a lot. They were expected to probably have locked the title by now, but hasn't quite yet. So, will they most likely win? Yes, but still, you get that, oh, this wasn't supposed to happen. Anyway, speaking of MSFL, going into the most recent two events, there were some pretty exciting ones. Event 10 was a hoot. It existed. It vibed. Everybody danced. And we had a very unexpected winner. This event was Aiming, and the winner was Eris. And Eris was pretty much universally considered the worst marble for the event. So yeah, Eris just won, and it was hype.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Fun fact. Before that event, the Shadowhunters had the longest gold medal drought in the league. Before that, their last win was in season 3. It was Snowball Chase. Yeah, and yeah. For if you don't know, the Shadowhunters are considered to be one of the worst teams in the league. And they are, and season 3 was their one good season where they got fourth, and yeah, they just have not been good outside of that. But this is definitely a really good shining light on Eris as well, marbles.
Such a random marble to just cook.
This end was very high RNG. You yeah, a lot of the good marbles ranked high, but there was also a lot of good marbles that ranked low. Like ignoring the elephant in the room that was Eris, you had Dar, who was a predicted podium marble, placing 13th. Hawk, who's also very good, they placed 11th. Galestorm and Alpha were the two best for the event. They slightly underperformed. And yeah, Sykes ended up on the podium for this event, and I wouldn't say they were bad, but I wouldn't say they were podium caliber.
Moving on to the penultimate event of season 5, Try Event Trials. For some reason, team events have just always been good, especially ones later in the season, pretty much. And this one delivered with that expectation. It was a 3-day event. We had 7 guest commentators, 192 individual runs by marbles. It was absolutely incredible. And in the end, Pantheon ended up winning, but actually Nico and the Icy Hots got the silver, so I'm going to pass it over to him to kind of talk about that performance.
Thank you. All right. So, originally I had Loom instead of Vertigo for this event, but then I realized that was stupid, so I put in Vertigo instead. And basically, this event, all right, it's probably one of the most complex events in the MSFL. So, Earthy, if you don't mind, I'm gonna kind of explain how this event works.
Go for it.
All right. So, basically, this event there's 3 different tracks that each marble gets 1 attempt on racing. You have the track section, you have the sand section, you have the water section, and each marble gets time for that section, and there are 6 different categories for each run that marble does. But, the first 3 are the max that are the best time out of your team. So for the camel hiders in the water, their best time I believe was from Urchin. And so that would be the time for their team, and they would put on a leaderboard for that. And then the second category is the average time for each thing. So the average of the 4 marbles in track, sand, and water. And then everybody would get ranked, and you'd score points for the event. And you would get 100 for first, 90 for second, 85 for third, all the way down to 20 for last. And I like the points, and that's how you decide who the winner is. Anyways, hey, back to my team. My team, we performed very good. Our low speed marble was Mesmer, who was a returning season 5 draft marble. One of our 2 round 3s, the other being Taint, who is now on Team Fire. And overall, this one was just good for our team. We won both of the sand categories, the max and the average. Jasper absolutely cooked. And our water was surprisingly strong. We got 6th in the average and 5th in the max. I don't quite remember our results for the track. I'll try to find it, but there's a lot in the commentary saying. I believe we got 7th in the max for the track. Oh. Just and we got 4th in the average. So yeah, we had about equal in both the aquatics and the track, and our sand second was really good. So which helped us get second behind the Pantheon, who just basically dominated the whole event.
It was a very interesting event in general, just how it ended up going down. You were in contention until the water section, basically, and the Pantheon absolutely cooked. Camel Hiders got top 3, which I wasn't really expecting. I mean, they had a good team, definitely, but wasn't really expecting quite that much. But okay, whatever. We roll with it. Motown got 5th, led by Zorro, who has a very solid case for most valuable marble now. Team Fire, championship contender, and Night Raid too. I guess Night Raid's a little bit further back, but both of them placed 9th and 10th. So that's not going to be good for overall points. That's going to put both of them in a hole. I don't think Night Raid can win anymore, even. Maybe just barely. No, I don't think so.
No, they can't. They can't.
Okay. Let me check actually. Night Raid is 120 points. They would need 126 to be in contention. So yeah, Night Raid just barely off. They are still in the podium race though. Would take a bit, but their marble for the final event is quite solid, so it could happen. But yeah, we had a lot of kind of upsets, unexpected. Like, oh, that team is good now they aren't anymore. What are we supposed to do about that? But it was a good event overall, all things considered. Very much enjoyed it, and the MVM was won by Icon, which Orsa's not going to shut up about for like the next week and a half at least, because Icon is Orsa's beloved marble. Yeah, Orsa really likes Icon. I don't know why, but it's a thing. So, I mean, I guess Icon was his first ever marble. Anyway, yeah, that happened. Try event was a good event, etc. Now we're going to do a bit of a preview for the finale. And the finale is going to be a hoot. Okay, this is going to be an absolute banger event. It is Big Tower. It's going to be a heat-based event, and there's a big tower, and the marbles go down the big tower, and it's like, yo, there's a big tower. So, pretty standard format-ish, but the competition is going to be anything but. So I was wondering, Nico, who are your projected leaders in this event? Who are the marbles that you think are going to do really good?
All right. So if I were to pick a winner solely based off stats, I would be going for Axel and Klaus. So they definitely have some competition for the top spot, and I definitely don't think it's guaranteed. But if I were to give if somebody like the award for like just being the best marble, in my opinion, it would probably be Axel. Um, a marble that I feel could rival them is actually in their same heat, that being Wild of the Pantheon. Recently got traded this season from Iron Brotherhood. They're tied for the highest off-roading in the field at 98. They have some of the highest grit out of the field. Their other two stats are somewhat weak, but I feel that 98 off-roading is just going to really help them out. My
Indeed.
bronze medalist is Faint from the Sanatons, who are in a very easy heat. They're up against 3 marbles, which are, in my opinion, not great for the event. Those being Carbon, Hero, and Savannah of the Motown Madness, Camel Hiders, and Western Warriors. If that 99 reflexes that Faint has just means a lot, then I can see them winning the whole thing. But even besides that, they have 95 off-roading. 82 grit hurts a lot, but I definitely don't think it's the end of the world when you have some other really strong stats.
Fair enough, and that's a pretty solid top 3. I don't have Faint quite that high. I don't think they're quite that good. Definitely good, but I don't think they're quite there. Of course, though, if that reflexes matters a bit, then yeah, they're going to be very, very dangerous. And I do have Axel as my projected winner of the event. However, second and third, I have different. Second, I actually have your very own Jasper at this point. I think Jasper very much could pull that off. They are a good marble for this event, just kind of all around. Very well could see them podiuming, at least making finals, actually. What heat are you guys in? Starry Sky, Cherry Bullets, Team Fire. That's not a super difficult heat. Blink is going to be a bit of a problem from Starry Sky, but the other ones are probably not going to do too much. So I at least expect you to make semis, if not further, based off of that.
All right.
And then third projected is actually Jinx of my team. Another marble who has a shot, maybe not quite as much as the rest. Their off-roading is lower, but definitely still kind of in the discussion, is Verdant. They have 93 off-roading, so definitely lower than the other marbles we've seen. And then 93 balance, 95 reflexes, and lower grit at just 89. Still though, depending on how the RNG goes, they could do just fine. They are in a decently tough heat. They're going to be up against Jinx, Phantaz likely, and then whoever Twilight Terrors are sending. No one really knows who the Twilight Terrors are sending. Twee has been making, or Twy, if you say it like that, has been making some very interesting decisions, event selection wise. As far as we know, they could send Pure. We have no idea. So it'll be interesting to see come event day how that happens. I have Envious as their best marble. Envious is not great, not horrid either, but not great. So it will definitely be interesting, kind of just in a amusing way, because regardless, Envious isn't gonna win a medal likely or anything, and Twilight Terrors are locked in dead last. I think pretty much they can't gain a spot, but it will be interesting to see who Y picks in that aspect. Just like, oh, this exists, all right. And then Phantaz. Phantaz is a really, really weird one. Just Iron Brotherhood in general, who they're gonna send. Yeah, Phantaz is probably better all around. They got 91 off-roading, 91 balance, 94 reflexes, and 88 grit. But that 91 off-roading, we don't know how important that's going to be. And then you got Primal over here with 97 off-roading. So it's all going to come down to what does Cortez decide to do on that front? And is Cortez going to change his fatigue or fatigue philosophy? Because in the past, he's done his best not to play marbles if they just come off of a team event, which Primal did play Tri-Event Trials, Event 11. However, it has also been proven and kind of publicized recently that, oh, one team event doesn't fatigue you and you won't have any drop in performance. We figured out the formulas on that. So, yeah, no idea what's going to happen there. Likely Phantaz will play. And if so, that makes, well, that's what's expected. So we've been calculating off of that. If Primal plays the underdog marbles, that being, I believe, Icarus. Icarus is probably playing. I don't know for sure. And then, Jinx and Jasper all will be slightly better because the underdog line will be higher.
So I didn't bring this up, but similar to you, I believe that Jasper, not to tell anyone more, but I believe that they can do very good. I have them at 6 for the event currently, and but I believe that like that like if a few things go right, hey, like like some managers make different picks and have predicted, then I believe that Jasper could make a run for the win. I believe that like I'll probably have them at second with if the better marbles are sent in because the underdog line can get pushed up to 90. And that's going to really help Jasper out, in my opinion.
So that is Big Tower. That is our thoughts on Big Tower for the most part. It'll definitely be an interesting event to see how things go. But Nico has a project that him and I believe Fire Marble, maybe a couple of others, have been working on recently. It's called OBT. It'll be the successor to OST. So why don't you tell us about that?
All right. So, okay, I'm not sure if I explained this, but it stands for one small tournament. It is one small tournament. There was only 4 events. OBT is one big tournament, and it is going to be the exact opposite. It is a very ambitious project, and there are going to be 32 teams, and all of them will be competing in one league. So it's not like the Marble League where only 16 are going to qualify, because I don't really want anyone to feeling left out that they're not competing. There's also going to be 16 events, which is going to be, I believe, the second ever SimComp to have 16 events. The first being CSML, run by Orsa and Sky. Right now I have the event schedule down. I'm not going to reveal anything about it. Like when OBT actually happens, then as soon as I get invited back and I can talk about the first few events of those. But yeah, super ambitious. There's going to be a lot of new managers that's never have before been seen, and yeah, I really hope that turns out well.
Just checked. CSML only has 12 events, so I don't know where you got the 16 from.
So we're going to be the first that
Yeah,
they're going to have 16.
first was 16. That'll definitely be interesting. I don't know if I'll end up managing. I might. Does sound like a pretty ambitious project to even just be a part of. But I will definitely at least follow that. We'll cover it on Full Send whenever it happens. Best of luck organizing all of that.
Another thing is that some of the best marbles from OST will be going to the OBT draft. Yeah, so like Acid, who won MVM, he's going to be coming. Petal won MVM season 1, they're going to be coming back. Goo, who won the event, they're going to be coming back. And yeah, like probably like the 10 to 20 best marbles are also be coming back. If anybody watching this is at all interesting in managing, then please just please join the server and apply, because obviously 32 managers is a lot.
Thank you, Nico, for joining me today for episode 6. I hope you have lots of fun with Big Tower. Hopefully, Jasper does well for your sake. Hopefully, Jinx does well for mine. And yeah.
Thanks for having me on RCD.
No problem. Thank you all for watching, and this is RCD and Nico for Full Send signing off.